everyone. Welcome back. It is the Danny Dot Podcast. I'm going to pack my suitcase, grab some high heels, and I'm going to have some questionable outfit choices. But I'm heading back over the ditch for my cousin's wedding this weekend, and I could not be more excited. This weekend absolutely promises love, luggage, and probably a hangover I'm going to regret on Wednesday. So anyway, let's set the scene and have a great podcast before the chaos kicks off Thursday. So I really need this trip to Australia. I'm not even going to lie. Like the excitement to see family and friends and attend a wedding. Brisbane is not a holiday, it's home, and I just kind of slot in every time. Like it's just so automatic to me. I don't worry about anything. I don't look into places or anything. I just vibe. It's exactly what I need right now. I don't know if you can tell, but I have a head cold. I have had this since Thursday. I thought it was hay fever, and then it just eventuated into this god-awful voice and stuffy nose. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to this. So I thought I'd do an episode on it because out of the 3 cousins of the same family, this is the last one to get married, and I could not be more prouder, honestly. I'm going to get to that soon because I've been walking around the house this morning reminiscing about just weddings in general and, you know, why this is quite important. But I'm going to set the tone for something quite funny because I am who I am. I have no regrets. I, of course, have a podcast, which I'm not a boring person, so of course I've got stuff to talk about. But this is going to send you all to the moon, and I love and appreciate each one of my listeners, but this is ridiculous. Danny had a boo-boo, a mistake, a problem. Anyway, so Sunday just gone, I went out to a winery with a friend of mine from my Vodafone days. She was down from Auckland. It was 12 years of, like, obviously work together. She knows everything. She listens to the podcast. Hi. I was sitting there enjoying a wine and my phone starts popping off. That's my Spotify for Creator app it was advising me that I had traffic. I was like, okay, that's cool. I've never seen that alert before. Traffic generally means that there's a spike in listeners, and my listeners are quite consistent. I can always tell there's like 10 that have listened the first 2 hours of me posting an episode. This was different. This was like, what the hell's going on? Anyway, I popped onto the ad and there was all these comments. I honestly could have sat in the winery and just scrolled reading these comments. They were so funny. Like, I know that you guys love to hear about this kind of shit, but the whole point was that I brought Farmer up last episode because it absolutely was not to do with the fact that there was anything there. I was just simply putting it out there that it's interesting that if something in your life doesn't fit and you push it away, there's like the universe does this weird thing that might bring them back again. And if it's meant to be, you're meant to have them in your life and have that whole like re-interaction. It's not, Jesus, I'm going to jump into bed and like marry the bloke or anything or start a relationship and find that he's my love of my life. No, I'm simply like acknowledging. You guys know that last year when I did the 75 hard and I popped out of it and I was looking and feeling my best, I was so taken aback by the way that he approached me. It kind of gave me like, oh my God, I'm actually like doing it. I'm doing life how I wanted to do it and be really proud of myself, but also I'm getting a little bit of attention that I've never had before in my life. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt and I apologize. And, you know, I've talked about all this. Anyway, he messages me and he says, why am I being talked about on a podcast and by the boys at the pub? And I was like, oh, and a piece of my stomach fell out of my ass. I was like, fuck. That's not the way to approach it when it's like he's literally the most quietest person I've ever met in my life, you know? We don't communicate. It's literally a hi, bye, how's your beer? Like there's nothing else. So, oh no, it was bad. It was bad, guys. When someone like that is questioning what you're talking about and then he actually said to me, I don't know if I want to listen to it. I was like, oh my God, don't listen to it. Like, because I couldn't remember what I said that was like going to be so bad. And I didn't know why the blokes at the pub were talking about it. Anyway, I reached out to a friend who I know listens to it, and she always like comforts me and gives me bloody good feedback. And I said, what did I say about Farmer and why should he be worried? And she was like, no, I don't think it was anything that you were enforcing yourself into his life into like a relationship type view. It was just that you appreciate him. He's a fun guy. And I was like, oh, well, okay, that's fine. Anyway, the reason why it was brought up in the first place, and I'll paint a picture because it was fucking funny. Sometimes I just think, why do I say these things? But it makes sense. We went out on Friday, me and a couple of friends, to the raffles, but I had pre-drinks at my house the hours beforehand. Oh my God, sorry. I've had cold and flu tablets and I feel like I'm like forgetting things. Anyway, they had started on mulled wine and I started on Aperol Spritz. I love an Aperol. It's not about the European summer. There's like botanicals in these bloody drinks that just make you feel warm and fuzzy. So I've been going to the raffles for damn near like 6 months now, and I go through phases where I want to buy tickets and then I don't want to buy tickets. I win and then I don't win. But it's been 10 or 12 weeks now where I haven't won, and it's annoying because I pick the same numbers as the old blokes who win multiple trays, and I'm like, this is shit. Anyway, I live for the Friday raffles because that's my social time. It's like all the tradies are there. There's like consistency, lots of locals. I love it. And I never go down for anyone. It's just that's my way of getting out of the house after a stressful work from home week. I always eat, sleep, gym, repeat. You know, that's just my cycle. So I put a lot of effort in on a Friday. And this Friday in particular, the Aperol contributed to my outfit. I'm not going to lie. She was sultry. She had like wispy, bloody romantic hair, an off-shouldered green dress. I had fake tan on. I smelled delicious. I've got this new, I can't pronounce it. It's an almond oil by, is it L'Occitane? And there's just something so irresistible about it. Like, I feel edible when I wear it. I love it. And I always put a little bit of effort in, like I have talked about previously. It maybe is a little bit intimidating because there is a lot of tradies there and gumboots and swan dry jackets and stuff. I don't give a shit. Wear what you want. But the fact is, that's what makes me feel good. So anyway, I am kicking around in this dress, and my friends start leaving. They've got their meat trays. They're drunk. You know, it's a whole thing. It's like 8 p.m. And I'm contemplating what I'm going to do. I'm like, oh, I could go home. You know, I've got the house to myself, could watch some rugby, make a burger, just, you know, vibe at home, whatever. And this guy comes into the pub who's standing at the bar, and I met him about a month ago. I don't know his name. I was never introduced to him. He joined our table and he was eating a bowl of nachos. My girlfriends and I refer to him as the Viking. And I don't know why, but it's just one of those things that, like, I've just started naming people. It doesn't matter what they do, what they are, whatever. To us, he is the Viking. And, you know, I thought, I'll entertain this. I'll see if he remembers me. And anyway, I walked up to him and he did. He started talking to me. We were having a bit of yarn. And he was sitting by himself, but then all of a sudden a few other people joined the table. And it was fun. Like, I was just having such a good time. I was drinking Jaeger bombs. They were eating their dinner. It was late. He said to me, oh, Farmer's running late, but he'll be here soon. I said, I don't care. He can do what he wants. I'm not here for, like, seeing him or anything. He's just, like, a really great guy, and I just wanted to put it out there. There was a girl at the table who was so softly spoken. I had to lean in to hear her, and, like, she was great, but I just couldn't hear her. There was a live band. The DJ was playing behind me, and I think there was just like a lull at the table, like a bit of a quiet silence. And I don't know why I did it, but I just piped up and said, my name's Danny and I've got a podcast. And I never advertise that I have a podcast. I don't say a word. So that's why this was so outrageous. And I just sat there like, seriously, Danny? But I showed them it on Spotify. I don't know if I was trying to prove a point. I don't know. And there was this really lovely guy sitting to my left, and he had an accent, and I kind of remember them, like, taking acknowledgement that I had a podcast, and I didn't really think much of it. That was what it was. It was fun. Anyway, Farmer joins the table. I don't know what really happened. I think he just, like, left again. It was late. Like, people just, I don't know. It wasn't really like a stay out kind of a vibe. Anyway, the last courtesy coach ended and they were making these jokes. It was so funny. You should go and find Farmer. He's just out the back in the hotel. And I was like, nah. It's not like that. It's not like that. He's just a really great guy. And they were like, come on, we'll go find him. And all of a sudden I was like down this hallway, navigating this bloody maze of a establishment, trying to, and I didn't knock on his door or anything, but he didn't answer. And I'm not 100% that was his door, but anyway, we don't care. I ended up going down the hallway as though I was leaving. And the Viking says to me, I'm just in here. I'll sleep on the floor. You can have my bed, but you can't just run home. It's late. You've been drinking. And I thought, this gentleman, are you joking? Like, that's the sweetest thing. And this bloke who was sitting to my left with the accent, he was just like, no, Danny, he's a stand-up guy. You should do it. You should stay. And I was like, okay. So I just like scooched in and took my shoes off. And like, we're adults. So I said to him, don't be ridiculous. You're not sleeping on the floor. Scooch in next to me. It's fine. So we did, and everything was great. Righty-o. 4 a.m. rolls around, and I don't know why I did it, but I rolled over and I just sort of like glanced at my watch and I was like, shit, it's 4 a.m. And, you know, one thing I've learned about these truckies is that they have to keep New Zealand moving, you know? So I said to him, I shook him and I was like, hey, I don't think I said Viking, but I might have. Wake up, you've got to start driving or whatever. And he was just like, no, I'm having a sleep in. And I was like, what? So anyway, I put my shoes on and I ran down the hallway and I was out the door, and no sooner had I opened that door than the farmer had just crossed paths with me. And it was like this, like, kind of a punch in the gut, like, oh no, you know, like, not the best thing. I don't know if, like, he just ignored me or whatever, but I was up the street, man. I was gone. Bye. It was freezing cold. I got home. I just went straight to bed. I was like, this is ridiculous. Why am I doing this? But I believe that something happened on the Saturday where the truckies started listening to the podcast. It may have been shared. I don't know. By Sunday, when I was being told that it had got out and everything else like that, and all I had envisioned in my head was truckies around New Zealand listening to me wrangle on about frickin' Farmer. His name doesn't suit him, let me tell you that. But it wasn't a sense of like me, you know, wishing anything upon him. I was re-looping back to the fact that this guy had come back through my life in such a way that I just thought I'd share it with everyone, because it was kind of sweet. At the end of the day, when I did meet him, and I just want to reiterate that I was going through some shit. Like, I don't think any of these blokes, Viking, dude with the accent, Farmer, none of them know about the emotional trauma that I went through late last year because of the freaking unavailable, emotionally stupid salmon. But that is all part of my story and my journey, and like, now I have the emotional capacity of a raisin. I don't think I'll ever really love anything ever again, because I didn't really love the salmon, but he made me sort of feel good about myself. And now I just like have this real fuck it attitude where I don't care. Like, it's quite depressing in a sense, but I know that in time I will heal and everything. But I just look back at that a year ago when I didn't even give the farmer the benefit of the doubt to even get to know him. Like, we didn't even have like contacts or anything. It was nothing of the sort. It was just, he made a passing comment, made me feel good about myself, and I didn't even acknowledge it. So I don't know. I just wanted to share that, like, he's a really cool guy, and maybe he's not for me, but at the end of the day, like, I like my bingo card and my 12 grapes under the table for the New Year's thing. Like, that's just who I am as a person. I'm kind of a real out there kind of girly girl who I don't really need or want anything in life. I just am enjoying my pace. And you guys all absolutely acknowledged that the farmer came back into my life, and the squeals and the excitement. I was like, oh my God, why was he having such a big impact on the podcast? I think it's because he was like a little side situation where no one was paying attention, when really we should have, because he's funny. in a weird kind of I don't communicate kind of way. But no, we do have chats. I'm being stupid. But I think it's just to dumb down the fact that I'm not pushing for anything. And he's not either. It's nothing. I think it's just a weird scenario. I don't even know how to voice it. Sorry, my kitten is playing with my Vicks vapor drops off my coffee table next to me. Poe, if you're going to be part of the podcast, can you just join in and not be annoying? So, all in all, yeah, look, I was trending by Sunday, and that's just going to send me to the moon. If I was going to say there was a viral episode, I didn't think it was going to be that one. But I suppose people just like good stories, and I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, if anything, if I could say anything, it's just that the truckies and the blokes that I obviously told people about my podcast because I felt safe and comfortable to do so. It wasn't like it was a spontaneous thing because I never talk about it. It was just that I thought I'd share that. It's a weird thing and when you meet new people that you don't know in any sort of way, why not talk about the funnier things in your life? Like, the podcast is a hobby. It's not like I'm not, it's just the weirdest thing, and I just could not believe it, and I couldn't wait to share it with you guys today because I know. I'm such an idiot. Anyway, if you are listening and you are on the roads of New Zealand, please lay off the farmer. Don't make him feel shittier than I made him feel because I didn't tell him I did that. I don't think blokes listen to the podcast. There's been many a times where I've been like yarning about different people and I've never ever looked back and thought, oh, shouldn't have said that. Well, now I do. My bad. So anyway, I am over the ditch on Thursday and the wedding that is going to happen. So I'll paint a picture. This is why it's kind of fun, is the family line that's getting married. This is the last one of the three. And he is a bloke, so he's marrying a bride into the family. And I think that's really interesting is because his sisters have been the brides in the past. So obviously we've been able to be at all the dress appointments and stuff, except for the middle one. The middle one that got married 2 years ago, September. I think that was like almost COVID days when she was picking out her dress, and I didn't get to be there for that. But her sister, the first one that got married, like, I truly believe that romance just runs in that side of the family. It's insane. I mean, her parents just scream romance. But, walking around the house this morning and thinking about all the weddings and stuff that I've been to and things, it's just, there's something so fun about families over friends that get married, like a family situation. So if I look at the first one that got married, I think she even posted the other day how many years she's been married to this guy, and I was like, wow. I mean, she's now got 2 kids. It was a real white picket fence scenario. I think one of the stories is that when she was like, I would say in her young 20s or even younger, when she met her now husband, I think he was poorly. He was a bit unwell in hospital. I think it was something, maybe even just like tonsils or something. She turned up with a basket of muffins. Like, if that doesn't scream that they're one day going to be husband and wife, I don't know what does. I mean, the romance is just out the gate. So obviously, their parents have been married for many years. Then the oldest child, she's been married for a lot. 2 kids, husband, white picket fence, all romantic. And then the middle child, she is a stunner, married 2 years, coming up in September. Her husband has been in our lives since the dawn of the dinosaurs. Like, it was a friend circle situation, I believe, but he was at all the parties. And to be quite honest, I didn't really spend much time with my cousins when they were like under 18. I'm kind of one of the more older cousins that was just like, let's just go out. Let's wait until you're 18 so you can actually go out and have some fun kind of cousins. There's photos on social media of my middle cousin's husband at house parties, and he's looking at her. And I'm just like, this guy, he always knew that he was going to marry her, and their marriage relationship is just so romantic. I want to find me one of these blokes. Like, I'm not interested in any type of, I don't know, surface level shit, And then to see the youngest little, bloke that he's had such a glow up in recent years. I cannot even deal that he's getting married this weekend. It just blows my mind. A couple of years ago, he was dating this chick, and I mean, if someone in your family is dating someone you don't like, you just kind of bite your tongue. We kind of had a bad vibe about her. It was weird. Anyway, he broke up with her. She ruined him, broke his heart, rah, rah. The glow up that he had from 0 to 100 still blows my mind. I know that you're supposed to always go through a bit of a transformation when you break up with someone that does that to you, but he went from like a boy to a man. And the photos still freak me out because he put so much love and attention and effort into himself. Of course he was going to attract someone as beautiful as his now bride-to-be. So no, look, I'm really happy for him because me and my granddad's sister, so she must be like late 70s, early 80s, we're like the gatekeepers of the family. It's weird, I know, but we're the Kiwis that go to all these family events, and if someone's dating someone, they have to get past us before they get sort of to move forward with anything. And when my cousin, who's getting married this weekend, when he introduced us to his now bride-to-be, I mean, we didn't put her through the test, but we were a little bit like pressed for what we wanted and expected out of that relationship before it even got off the ground. And I remember it so well. It was the funniest kind of conversations. I remember how he was so nervous to introduce her to us. And I am kind of one of those cousins that just kind of pops up and they love me for it. But I have a huge impact on all of their lives. I just adore every one of them for whatever reason. They've all got such different personalities, different lives. That obviously this one, I do expect the best for him. But it wasn't until he brought his now bride-to-be to Queenstown very early on in their relationship. And we had a couple of drinks. We were like just kind of catching up on. I was meeting her off grid. She'd not been to Queenstown. She, was just learning about New Zealand and stuff like that. It was so cool that she started talking to me about a past boyfriend and how he corrupted her central nervous system to the point where in that relationship she felt like she didn't know. She felt like she could not sleep. She was not a rested, calm human being. And how Jack has just, my cousin, has just actually centered her whole calmness. And I look at her now as a mum. They've got a 1-year-old. And it's just crazy to think that, obviously, if you're with the wrong person, it really shows. But when you meet the right person, it's not like it's a magnetic kind of a force. But she was just kind of a little bit frazzled back then. And then she kind of moved into this whole, this is who I'm meant to be with. And then it was just like the easiest transition. And I always think that someone is meant to be in your life, is meant to complement your life as you're meant to complement theirs. It's not meant to be a stressful, harsh environment. You're not supposed to worry about this, that, and the other. It's supposed to be a joint kind of a combination. So honestly, seeing them through the years and working their way up to getting married this weekend, it's just super special. But when they got engaged in Paris and they FaceTimed me from the hotel room, and all I had was their finger in the video, and I had just woken up from like such a shit night out in Cromwell. I don't even want to even flash back to that. I looked like a bag of shit. I remember it. And she was just like, I wanted to tell you that I'm engaged. And I was just looking at this rock like, oh my God. And so I was so happy for them. But honestly, the level of men that we have here in Cromwell compared to these types of people that my cousins are all finding and meeting and being married to, where the hell are they? Because they're not in New Zealand. I don't know what it is. So I lived for 5 years in Australia, and I was pretty naive about what was going on, and I didn't really pay much attention to the people that were in Australia at the time, I was kind of seeing someone long distance, so it didn't really make sense to me. But I don't know. They're just a different breed. There's a bit of a family joke, though, because I have a cousin on another family line. They're all cousins. We're all cousins, don't be wrong, but there's a different family unit of cousins, and the oldest one of them, we both come from broken families. You know, we've both got divorced parents, rah-de-rah. We have this family joke that love has skipped us, and I do look at it, but he attracts the most craziest woman, but his attraction to that is just like, he would rather that. I don't know, it's weird. But we do tend to agree on the fact that we don't have that same love as what our younger cousins do for their partners. We don't meet that. It's so weird, but we're both really good catchers. I would say that my 20s and my 30s have not been dedicated to me finding someone. I've been too busy enjoying life, and maybe it's not for me. But in saying that, I had a tarot reading done about a month ago. This was really weird. They actually said that I was going to find my husband and get married between the age of 58 and 60. So maybe I am going to be one of those older brides. I don't even know. But I'm not in that sort of mindset of meeting someone. I'm still broken, and in my fuck it era, the whole no one deserves me. I'm just having fun. I just think that I've never been like this before in my life, but I don't wish to be in a loved up relationship like all my cousins are at the moment, because the oldest bloke cousin on the other side that is like me with the whole, love skipped us scenario, he's got 2 twin sisters, and when they fell pregnant, 2 different blokes, obviously, they were very young. And I remember them saying that they weren't going to do this whole life thing the right way. They were going to flip it upside down and do it the wrong way. So babies before marriage, before meeting their forever person, rah-rah. And they're fine. So I do look at it one side of the family is very marriage material with babies and just really set in who they should be with. The other side is just, I don't know, just living life and doing what they want, but in their own terms, their own ways, their own time. And then there's me in the middle, me and Tom, my brother. We don't give a shit. I mean, we've got a lot on our plate at the moment, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely not to do with committing to someone or worrying about someone. And for so many years, I used to laugh and be like, I'm not worried about someone's dusty ass son and where he is and where he should be. I do believe that if someone wants to be in my life, they'll make it obvious. I'm definitely not going to chase anyone. Jesus. I feel like I'm too old for that. But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I will go and check out this wedding this weekend, but I will pack the microphone and the laptop so I can pop an episode up next Tuesday. I will do it. I took the microphone to Australia, I don't know, 2 years ago, and we didn't record, did we? No, I think me and my bestie got drunk on the balcony and I couldn't even string 2 words together. Better that episode never makes it to the light of day. But yeah, you can expect that I will still pop out an episode. We are 3 away from the end of the season. Gosh, imagine what the end of the season is going to look like. This has just been the wildest season 3, and I've enjoyed every single moment of it, from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows. I'm going to say that me talking about the farmer and the farmer finding out was pretty low. The actual scenario was the highest of highs, because I was like, this guy's funny. But then I felt stink because I don't want him to be seen in a bad light, because he's not. I wanted to tell a story about how he came back into the picture, and you guys all loved it. And look, if I catch up with him in the weeks to come, I will show him the comments and share with him that he is appreciated, and that it's not, I don't know, it's not a reflection of me chasing him to want his babies or anything stupid like that. Put a ring on my finger, farmer. No. I just appreciate him. He's interesting. without really talking. Anyway, all right, that's it for now. Next time you hear from me, I will either be, I don't know, eyeballs deep in duty free, or recovering from questionable late night scooter decisions. That's always the way when I go over there, isn't it? Stay tuned for the wedding weekend wrap up and anything else that might have happened. I might meet the love of my life on the flight over. Who knows? Actually, I need to ring up and ask about this because I keep getting asked if I want to upgrade my seat to business class, and I never, ever say yes because why would you do it on a 3-hour flight to bloody Australia? It's nothing. No, upgrade me to when I fly to, like, bloody Asia. Anyway, take care for now, guys. It's always a pleasure. But, yeah, make some good choices, and I'll speak to you next week. Bye.